Hello, my name is Madeline, and welcome to this Yin Yoga class for fascia release. So, fascia is the connective tissue between the muscles, and so we're getting into that. We're getting into the joints, that connective tissue, really throughout the entire body. And in Yin, we hold poses from 2 to 5 minutes. This class might be a little bit closer to 2 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes, just so we're really getting in there. So let's get started with our first yin pose. We're going to come into a butterfly. So you can start to bring the soles of the feet together. They don't have to be in super close, they can be out as far as you like. And try to find a position that you feel like you can maintain for a couple of minutes. If you have blocks, you can grab them and place them underneath those knees. Option to place a block on top of the feet as well. And if sitting upright feels good, you can stay here. If you want some more, start to fold forward towards those feet. Really try to let the head go, let the spine soften and release. Feeling this nice hip opening here. And breathing deeply. Maybe allowing yourself to sink a little deeper with each breath. And let's take a few more deep breaths here. And take one last deep breath. If you're folding forward, start to slowly press back up onto those hands, taking your time. You can bring the hands to the outsides of the thighs and really gently start to draw those knees back in together. You can remove any props if you are using them. And bring those hands behind you. Option to go for a couple of windshield wipers, rocking those knees from side to side. Should feel like a nice release in the back. And then return back to center whenever you're ready. We're going to make our way onto our hands and knees. So once you're on your hands and knees in tabletop position, you can start to take a couple of cat-cows, arching the spine as you inhale and looking up, then rounding the back as you exhale. And you can continue like this or take any kind of fluid movement that feels good in the body. So maybe some circles in the body, one direction, and then the other direction. And then return back to your neutral tabletop whenever you're ready. And we're going to come into a thread the needle pose. So you want to try to keep your knees and hips in one line here. And we're going to reach that right arm up and then start to thread it through underneath that left arm. So that right shoulder should be pressing down on the mat. Should feel a really nice opening in that upper back. If you want a little more, you can walk those left fingertips out in front of you, but only if it feels good in your body. There's no pressure. And really remember that breath. It can be easy to want to hold it here. Remember, keep breathing. And let's take a couple more deep breaths here. Taking one last deep breath. And then slowly start to unthread that needle, no rush. Sliding that right arm out and reaching it up once again. And then returning it back down to the mat. You can pause here in tabletop for a couple of moments. Option 2, flip those wrists, bringing the fingers facing towards you, and go for a couple of cat-cows here or some circles. It can be nice to get into that fascia of the wrist joints. And then return back to your regular neutral tabletop whenever you're ready. And we'll come into thread the needle on the other side. This time reaching left arm up to the sky and threading it underneath that right arm. So making sure left shoulder is on the mat. And if you want a little more, you can extend those right fingertips out in front of you. But again, there's no pressure. Send the breath all the way up and down the spine. And let's take a few more deep breaths here. And take one last deep breath. And then slowly start to unthread that needle, really taking your time. You can reach the left arm back up. And then bring it back down to the mat. Maybe just pause in tabletop here. Notice how the body is feeling. And then you can start to sit back on your heels, coming into a seated position. And from here, extend those legs out in front of you. And we're going to come into a caterpillar pose. So you can bend the knees as much as you like here. If you want some more opening in that low back, bend them a lot. If you want to feel it really across the whole back sides of the legs and your back, you can keep those legs straight. So it's up to you. You can always sit up on a blanket as well if that feels good. And then reach the arms up above you and start to fold forward over those legs. You don't have to go too far at all. Option to place a block in between the knees for the forehead to rest on. And breathe here. This is really creating opening along the whole backside of the body. So try to let your head drop and let that back soften. And let's take a few more deep breaths here. Take one last breath and slowly start to crawl back up those legs, no rush. From here, again, you can go for those windshield wipers if it feels good. You can just shake your legs out too if that feels nice as well. And then let's return back to center. And from here, we're going to come into a half shoelace. So start to bend at the right leg and try to bring the right knee to stack directly on top of the left. So again, you can sit up on a blanket as well if that feels better for you. And this can already feel like a really intense pose. You should really feel it in both the left hamstring and that right hip. So you can stay upright here. If this really doesn't feel good in the body, you can come into a half tree instead, sole of the right foot on the left thigh. So either way, you can reach the arms up again and start to fold forward. And you definitely might not go too far here, which is totally fine. Just going to where you feel a nice stretch in the body. And try to really melt into it. And start to take a few more breaths here. Take one last deep breath. And then slowly start to walk those hands back up. You can start to release that right leg. Maybe you want to shake it out a little bit here. Should feel nice. And then pause back at center in stillness, and we'll make our way into that half shoelace on the other side. So this time bending at the left knee, and then stack that left knee on top of the right. So they should be kind of directly on top of each other if that's accessible. And know that each side feels really different. Again, option to go for that half tree pose on, or half butterfly pose on this side. And then start to reach those arms up and fold forward over the legs. Breathing deeply, surrendering into the pose. And let's take a few more deep breaths here. Take one last deep breath and then start to slowly walk those fingertips back up. Really gently can start to remove that left leg, bring it back out in line with the right. Maybe you want to shake those legs out a little bit again. And once you're finished with that, we're going to come back onto our hands and knees. And we're going to come into a tadpole or a frog pose. So if you have a blanket, you might want to grab it, place it in front of you, in front of the knees. And you also might want to come to face the long way on the mat. I'm going to stay this way just so I can show you. But start to bring those feet together, kind of like you're going to a child's pose, and then start to draw those knees really wide, wider than you would normally go for a child's pose. And you can start to come forward onto the forearms a little bit, and then start to kind of extend those shins to really come in line with the knees. So it's kind of like you're making two right angles with the legs. So you should really feel this in the inner thigh. You can place a block underneath the forehead if that feels good. I definitely find this one to be pretty intense. So you can always come back into a child's pose, a wide leg child's pose, if that feels better. And try to breathe here. Remember, if you feel any pain, you can always come out of it at any time. And let's take a couple more deep breaths here. Take one last deep breath. And slowly start to come out of it. You can press up onto the hands. Slide those knees back in. It's kind of hard to find a graceful way to do that. And then you can bring the knees together. Just sink back into a child's pose. So maybe a closed leg child's pose with the arms reaching behind you. If you want to go for that wide leg child's pose, you can do that as well. And let's just rest here for a little bit, noticing the effects of that pose on the body. And coming back to your breath. And let's take one more breath in this child's pose. And then slowly start to press back up. Take your time. You can come over to one side, extend those legs out long. We'll come all the way down onto our backs. You can hug the knees into the chest and rock a little side to side. From here, take any final poses or movement your body is needing before we head into Shavasana. So that could be a happy baby, could be a snail pose, whatever your body is craving. And then whenever you're ready, no rush, start to extend those legs out long. Come all the way down onto your back. Let the arms drape out to the sides and surrender into the earth for your final resting pose, Shavasana. And if you have the time to stay in Shavasana, I encourage you to do so. If you have to get going, we'll close with one final breath. You can exhale the air out now. Take a deep inhale through the nose. And then a big sigh out the mouth. And thank you so much for practicing with me. I hope your body is feeling good. And if you'd like to see more Yin Yoga classes like this, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you again next time.